From rare regional specials to Shelby exports and legendary big blocks, these are the 70s Mustangs that command staggering prices today. Hidden gems now worth more than modern supercars. Welcome back to Legendary Classic Cars. Today we reveal the top 10 most expensive Mustangs from the 70s. From Boss 429S and Shelby Europas to forgotten dealer specials like the Twister and Sidewinder. Each one blends rarity, muscle, and history into six-figure collector treasures you rarely see on the road. Top 1 1970 Mustang Boss 429. If you saw one in 1970, you might have mistaken it for just another Mustang fastback. No wild stripes, no exaggerated wings, just a wide stance, a functional scoop, and a quiet menace. But the 1970 Mustang Boss 429 was a wolf in plain clothing, a purpose-built legend that could crush almost anything in its path. Ford created the Boss 429 to homologate its massive 429 cubic inch semi-Hemi V8 for NASCAR. To make it fit, Carcraft in Brighton, Michigan, hand-assembled every car, modifying the engine bay, relocating the battery to the trunk, and upgrading suspension components. Under the hood sat 375 gross horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Real-world output was closer to 500 horsepower. Mated to a close ratio 4-speed top-loader and 3.91 traction lock rear, this Mustang could rip 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds and run the quarter mile in the low 13s. Only 499 Boss 429s were built in 1970, making them among the rarest factory big block Mustangs. Inside, buyers found high-back vinyl bucket seats, wood-grain dash trim, and a Hurst shifter. Outside, subtle Boss 429 fender decals and Magnum 500 wheels were the only hints at its pedigree. While subtle in looks, its auction value is anything but quiet. Pristine examples now command $300,000, $600,000 at Barrett-Jackson and Mecum auctions, making it one of the most expensive production Mustangs ever built. Many collectors consider it the ultimate 70s Mustang investment. The Boss 429 became a street-legal race car, a piece of Ford's NASCAR legacy frozen in steel. Its rarity and performance have made it a six-figure icon and a cornerstone of Mustang history. But the next Mustang on our list wasn't born in Detroit. It came from across the Atlantic, a European market Shelby that's even rarer and just as coveted. Top 2 1971 Shelby Europa GT-350. Imagine a classic Shelby Mustang, but built for European roads, with a hint of exotic flair and a price tag to match. The 1971 Shelby Europa GT-350 wasn't just rare, it was an overseas legend, a muscle car dressed in export tailoring that most American collectors never even saw in person. After the U.S. Shelby program wound down in 1970, a handful of Mustangs were converted for the European market under Shelby's guidance. The 1971 Shelby Europa GT-350 started life as a standard 1971 sports roof Mustang, then received Shelby styling cues, unique badging, and performance tweaks for European buyers. Under the hood, most carried the 351 Cleveland V8, rated at approximately 330 gross horsepower, with a 4-barrel carb and performance exhaust. Paired with a 4-speed manual, the GT350 could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6.5 seconds. Impressive for a heavier 71 body. Only 9 cars were produced, making it one of the rarest Shelby-badged Mustangs ever built. Exterior features included special striping, Shelby lettering, and custom European lighting requirements. Inside, buyers enjoyed high-back bucket seats, wood-grain dash accents, and the sporty Shelby steering wheel. While nearly forgotten in the U.S., the few survivors that surface today at auction command $250,000, $400,000 plus dollars. Their value comes not just from rarity, but from the unique blend of Shelby heritage and European exclusivity that makes them irresistible to top collectors. The Shelby Europa GT-350 is a perfect example of how the Mustang brand transcended borders, offering muscle car power with international mystique. And while the Shelby Europa ruled overseas, Ford's next masterpiece roared straight out of the American heartland. A Kansas-born special edition that looked like a tornado on wheels. Top 3 1970 Mustang Twister Special 428 CJ. Bright grabber orange paint, a spinning tornado decal on the rear quarter panel, and the stance of a street predator. This wasn't a standard Mach 1. The 1970 Mustang Twister Special 428 CJ was a Kansas-only powerhouse that turned local showrooms into legends and left tire marks all over the prairie. The Twister Special was born from a Kansas City district sales promotion to spike Mustang sales in the Midwest. Ford built just 96 Mach 1s for the program, and only 48 of them received the 428 Cobra Jet Ram Air V8, factory rated at 335 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque, though real output pushed closer to 375 horsepower. With the top-loader 4-speed and traction-lock rear gears, the Twister could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 5.8 seconds and the quarter mile in the low 13 seconds. Externally, every car came in grabber orange with matte black hood treatment, Twister Cyclone graphics, and optional rear spoilers. Inside, it retained the Mach 1's signature features, high-back vinyl bucket seats, wood-grain dash trim, and a Hurst shifter ready to deliver that big block surge. While unknown outside the Midwest for decades, the Twister Special's value today is sky-high. Original, well-documented 428 CJ examples routinely fetch $175,000 to $250,000 at major auctions, with rarity and regional exclusivity driving the price. The Twister Special embodies the perfect mix of low production, raw power, and local legend. Its combination of bright colors and drag strip credentials made it a true collectible Mustang from the 70s. But if the Twister Special was a regional storm, Ford's next heavyweight Mach 1 brought national thunder, a 429 Super Cobra Jet built to conquer the quarter mile. Top 4, 1971 Mustang Mach 1 429 Super Cobra Jet. It was the heavyweight champion of Ford's muscle lineup, a long-nosed Mach 1 with a heart as big as its name. The 1971 Mustang Mach 1 429 Super Cobra Jet wasn't built to be polite. It was born to devour the quarter mile, while the rest of the industry bowed to emissions and insurance pressures. Only 531 units of the 429 SCJ Mach 1 left the factory in 1971. Beneath the NCAC adducted hood sat the 429 cubic inch Super Cobra Jet V8. Factory rated at 375 gross horsepower, SCJ cars required the drag pack, which meant 3.91 or 4.11 gears, oil cooler, heavy-duty internals, and a solid lifter cam. Mated to a close ratio 4-speed top-loader, the car could do 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 5 seconds, and the quarter mile in the low 13s. On the outside, the Mach 1 SCJ flaunted its muscle with a blackout hood, honeycomb grille, optional front and rear spoilers, and Magnum 500 wheels. Inside, drivers found high-back bucket seats, wood-grain dash trim, and a Hurst shifter that completed the performance vibe. These cars were almost unsellable to casual buyers in 1971, too loud, too harsh, and too costly to insure. Many sat on dealer lots before moving, and today survivors command $150,000 to $200,000+ at major auctions. Collectors know they're buying a street-legal time capsule of raw pre-emissions power. The 429 CJ Mach 1 became a symbol of the last gasp of factory big block muscle, a car built without compromise, as the curtain was falling on the golden era. But if this heavyweight was Ford's drag strip hammer, the next Mustang on our list proved that a high-revving small block could be just as lethal. Top 5 1971 Mustang Boss 351. When big blocks started to vanish under the weight of emissions and insurance surcharges, Ford's answer was a high-revving small block predator, the 1971 Mustang Boss 351. It didn't just look fast, it screamed to 6,000 RPM and proved that cubes weren't the only path to dominance. Ford built 1,806 Boss 351s in 1971, making them rare and instantly collectible. Under the functional neck duct hood sat the 351 Cleveland high-output V8, rated at 330 gross horsepower and 370 pound-feet of torque. This engine featured 4-bolt mains, a solid lifter cam, big port heads, and a 780 CFM Holley carburetor, mated to a close ratio 4-speed top-loader and 3.91 traction lock rear. The Boss 351 launched from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds and ran the quarter mile in the high 13s. Externally, the Boss 351 wore black hood stripes, honeycomb grille inserts, optional front and rear spoilers, and Boss 351 fender decals. Inside, high-back bucket seats, wood-grain dash trim, and a Hurst shifter reinforced the performance-first attitude. Though it lacked a big block, the Boss 351 quickly earned respect as a giant killer. Well-preserved originals now bring $150,000 and $180,000+ at auction, especially when paired with factory documentation and rare color combinations. Its blend of balance, speed, and scarcity has made it a darling among Mustang purists and investors alike. The Boss 351 was the last true small-block performance Mustang of the early 70s, bridging the gap between the brute force of the 429S and the emissions-choked years that followed. But Ford wasn't finished with powerful street machines. The next Mach 1 on our list combined rarity, R-code authority, and the heart of a true drag strip warrior. Top 6, 1972 Mustang Mach 1351 HO R-code. By 1972, muscle cars were on life support. Emissions laws and insurance surcharges had tamed the streets, but Ford slipped in one last small-block predator, the Mach 1 351 high-output R-code. It was the hidden gem of the lineup, snarling with boss-level DNA. Only 398 units were built, making this one of the rarest Mustangs of the decade. Under the NAC-inducted hood lived the 351 Cleveland HO, essentially a detuned Boss 351 engine with 275 net horsepower and 370 pound-feet of torque. Solid lifter cam, big port 4 V-heads, forged pistons, and a 4-barrel carb gave it surprising bite. Paired with a close-ratio 4-speed top-loader and 3.91 traction-lock rear, it could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds and a quarter mile in the mid-14s. Externally, it was almost indistinguishable from a standard Mach 1 blackout hood treatment, honeycomb grille, urethane bumper, and optional Magnum 500 wheels. Inside, high-back vinyl buckets, wood-grain dash, and a Hurst shifter completed the sleeper vibe. Most buyers ignored the 351 HO because the net horsepower rating seemed modest. Today, survivors tell a different story. Pristine examples now command $130,000, $160,000+ at auction, treasured as the last high-winding small-block Mustang of the era. The 351 HO proved that Ford could still deliver performance, even in a tightening market. Its rarity and boss lineage have turned it into a blue-chip collectible for Mustang enthusiasts. And while this subtle predator ruled the streets quietly, the next Mustang on our list blended California flair with a 428 Cobra Jet roar, creating a regional legend collectors still chase today. Top 7, 1970 Mustang California Special 428 CJ. California was known for sunshine and style, but in 1970 Ford added something else to the mix: brutal big block power. The Mustang California Special 428 Cobra Jet looked like a West Coast cruiser, but under its hood was a storm waiting to happen. The California Special, originally introduced in 1968, returned in 1970 as a rare dealer-offered package with unique striping, rear deck spoiler, and sequential taillights borrowed from the Shelby GT. Most were small-block cruisers, but a handful, fewer than 50 units, received the mighty 428 Cobra Jet. This 428 CJV8 produced 335 gross horsepower and a monstrous 440 pound-feet of torque, easily capable of mid-13-second quarter-mile times when paired with the 4-speed top-loader and traction-lock rear. Externally, the car carried GTCS badging, side scoops, and a clean fastback or coupe profile that screamed California cool. Inside, high-back vinyl buckets, wood-grain dash, and optional air conditioning created a balance of muscle and comfort. While most buyers saw the California Special as a style package, the rare 428 CJ cars have become prized collectibles. Documented originals now bring $120,000, $150,000+ at auction, thanks to their ultra-low production and regional exclusivity. These Mustangs combine show and go, embodying West Coast flair with serious drag strip bite. Their rarity and dual personality make them highly desirable among collectors today. But if the California Special was a stylish bruiser, Ford's next regional Mustang was even stranger. A Plains-born edition, with a name as wild as the winds that inspired it. Top 8, 1970 Mustang Sidewinder Special. In 1970, while most Mustang buyers focused on Mach 1S and boss cars, a few Midwestern dealers offered something far wilder: the Sidewinder Special. With coiled snake graphics and hidden big block power, it was a regional legend waiting to strike, known only to locals in Iowa and Nebraska. The Sidewinder Special was a dealer-exclusive promotion, with production estimated at 40-50 units, making it one of the rarest 70s Mustangs. Most were based on the Mach 1 sports roof and equipped with the 351 Cleveland 4V M code, producing 300 gross horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. A handful were ordered with the 428 Cobra Jet Ram Air, rated at 335 horsepower, for true drag strip dominance. Performance matched its venomous name. The 351C four-speed cars could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.5 seconds, and the quarter mile in the mid-14s, while 428 CJ versions dipped to 5.8 seconds to 60 miles per hour and low 13-second quarters. On the outside, the Sidewinder wore snake graphics, bold side stripes, grabber colors, and often Magnum 500 wheels. Inside, it featured Mach 1 trim with high-back vinyl bucket seats, wood grain dash, and a Hurst shifter to complete the muscle car vibe. Almost no one knew these cars existed beyond the Midwest, and documentation is scarce. That obscurity now fuels their value, with authentic examples fetching $90,000, $110,000+ at auction. The Sidewinder Special stands as a pure snapshot of local dealer creativity, an era when Ford muscle cars became regional legends with bite to back their bold graphics. Next up, Ford swapped snakes for stars and stripes, turning Olympic pride into one of the rarest patriotic convertibles ever built. Top 9 1972 Mustang Sprint Olympic Edition Convertible. In 1972, Ford decided to celebrate the Summer Olympics and the Mustang's role as an official pace car with a star-spangled pony. The Sprint Olympic Edition Convertible combined patriotic flair with true Mustang muscle, making it one of the most unusual and collectible 70s variants ever built. The Sprint package featured Wimbledon white paint with blue stripes, USA Shield decals, and optional red and blue interior accents. The rarest body style was the convertible, with just 50 units produced. Most were equipped with the 302 V8, but enthusiasts could order the 361 Cleveland 4-barrel, M code rated at 266 net horsepower and tilde 370 pound-feet of torque. With the 351 C4V and 4-speed toploader, the Sprint convertible could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7.3 seconds and run the quarter mile in the high 15s, respectable in the early emissions era. Inside, the car carried high-back vinyl bucket seats, wood grain dash, and optional Rallier gauges, maintaining Mustang's sporty character while showcasing its patriotic design. Because it was essentially a promotional model with minimal advertising, most were driven and forgotten. Today, documented 351C convertibles command $80,000 to $100,000+ with their combination of rarity, theme, and period charm making them auction favorites. The Sprint Olympic convertible is a snapshot of 1970s American pride, a stylish parade car that could still deliver authentic V8 Mustang performance. But Ford's final entry on our list traded Olympic banners for the checkered flag, carrying the Mustang name to the track as a low-production pace car icon. Top 10 1979 Mustang Indy Pace Car, 2nd Gen. As the 1970 drew to a close, Ford introduced a completely new Mustang, the downsized Fox body. But in 1979, one special variant stood out in the spotlight, the Indy 500 Official Pace Car Edition. With its aggressive graphics and unique equipment, it proved that the Mustang could still be a performance icon even in a changing era. The 1979 Mustang Indy Pace Car was based on the new second-generation Mustang and featured a distinctive pewter and black two-tone paint scheme, bold pace car decals, and a unique front air dam with fog lights. Power came from either the 2.3-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, producing 132 horsepower, or the 5-liter V8, rated at 140 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. When paired with a 4-speed manual, the 5-liter V8 car could sprint 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 9 seconds and run the quarter mile in the high 16s, modest by early 70s standards but strong for the late decade. Ford built approximately 11,000 units, making it collectible but not impossible to find. Here inside, the pace car featured Recaro sport seats, a sport steering wheel, and unique badging, giving it a race-inspired feel that no other 1979 Mustang offered. Despite its moderate performance, low-mile pace cars with original graphics now fetch $75,000, $95,000+ at auctions, valued for their historical significance and special edition appeal. The 1979 Indy Pace Car marks the bridge between classic muscle and the Fox body performance revival, showing that special Mustangs could still capture the public's imagination. Today, spotting an authentic Indy Pace Car on the road feels like seeing a moving time capsule. Its bold graphics and sharp two-tone paint still whisper that, once, this Mustang led the field at the Brickyard. Which of these high-dollar classics blew your mind? Tell us in the comments if you'd rather own a Boss 429, a Shelby Europa, or the patriotic Sprint convertible. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more rare muscle legends, only here on Legendary Classic Cars.